want to promote your business? Do you want to talk about your nonprofit organization? Do you want to talk about your culture? Introducing the online web TV, Afrique Today. Log in. You can watch us live at the same time on 4 platforms: Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and using the Afrique Today app. Download our app today for Android or Apple. Promote your business today. For more information, go to www.afriquetoday.com. Afrique Today, the best of digital TV. ESYDA returned to play summer clinics. Recreation, Tuesday and Thursday, 6 to 8 p.m. Travel team, EDP, Wednesday, Friday, and Saturday. Time, 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. Free mask and water bottle. Register today at esYDA.org. Email info@esYDA. Phone 248-765-9369. Office 301-800-7848. Toll free 800-995-5532. Free registration for all summer clinics. All new players need buy uniforms. We're following COVID-19 soccer guidelines. Small group practice with 9 players and 1 coach. For more information, go to esYDA.org.
L'entrepreneuriat digital vous intéresse-t-il? Vous voulez apprendre à construire des projets digitaux? Aimeriez-vous gagner des revenus passifs conséquents en tout lieu? Voici la plateforme des professionnels du digital, la Diaspo Academy. Ici, vous retrouverez les meilleurs professionnels de la diasporama mondiale connectés sur notre plateforme. Vous allez pouvoir acquérir des formations adéquates qui feront de vous des entrepreneurs digitaux compétents. Étudiants, entrepreneurs, coachs, instructeurs et entreprises, Diaspo Academy est une opportunité pour vous. Elle vous offre la possibilité de suivre votre formation en mode virtuel à partir de chez vous, où que vous soyez sur la planète. Toutes nos formations disponibles en ligne sont dispensées de manière interactive. Il suffit de vous inscrire et vous pourrez les suivre depuis chez vous. Au cours de la formation, vous passerez des quiz et examens selon votre parcours. En outre, à partir de votre tableau de bord, vous suivrez vos performances et progressions. Vous pourrez aussi communiquer avec vos instructeurs et recevoir des notifications. À la fin de votre parcours de formation, vous recevrez un certificat Diaspo Academy Certified. Que vous soyez débutant ou responsable d'entreprise, Diaspo Academy est une opportunité pour vous. Saisissez-la! Enfin, que vous soyez coach ou instructeur, ayez accès à un millier d'étudiants à travers notre plateforme. Merci de choisir Diaspo Academy, le meilleur choix. Pour plus d'informations, allez sur www.diaspoacademy.com. Diaspo Academy, la plateforme des professionnels du digital.
Do you want to promote your business? Do you want to talk about your nonprofit organization? Do you want to talk about your culture? Introducing the online web TV, Afrique Today. Log in. You can watch us live at the same time on 4 platforms: Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and using the Afrique Today app. Download our app today for Android or Apple. Promote your business today. For more information, go to www.afriquetoday.com. Afrique Today, the best of digital TV.
everyone. Welcome to AfriqueToday.com, the leading digital TV station out of Washington, D.C. My name is Busi Matsiko Andan. I'm the new host for the African Diasporan Grassroots Voting. And I must say, I'm trying hard to not show my excitement, but I can't because I am expectant. I even have a script so that we leave no stone unturned, since this is our first show and I am live from our station in New York City. We are going to have amazing guests on this show, including political figures, business people, grassroots leaders, so that you know everything you need to know about the 2020 elections in the US. Today, we're going to have an amazing show. But one thing I should tell you, please you can watch us live from 4 platforms. That is YouTube, Facebook, Twitch, our website, www.afriquetoday.com. Stay tuned. Welcome back, everyone. I am so happy that you are here with us to watch the African Diaspora Grassroots Voting show. There's a lot in store with this show. And today, our first guest is the amazing Desiree Peterkin Bell. Desiree Peterkin Bell is going to talk to us about exercising our civic duty. You know, it's very critical. Desiree, I'll read her bio because this woman, I tell you, she is so accomplished. Desiree is an award-winning, battle-tested public and political affairs strategist, brand builder, best-selling author. As the founder of DPBell Associates, she brings her 2 decades of expertise to the table, helping to support some of the most influential movements and brands in the country. Desiree boasts a long and successful career working with national, state, local, and international governments. She has advised some of the country's most notable mayors and world leaders, including President Barack Obama, cementing her as a key fixture in political, public affairs, and strategy circles around the world. Help me in welcoming Desiree Peterkin Bell. Desiree, it's so good to have you. Welcome.
Thank you, Busi, and I appreciate being your first guest. I'm so excited to jump in.
I am so glad. You don't know. How have you been doing during these unprecedented times, Desiree?
You know, I'm hanging in there. I think a lot of us, given everything that's happened, especially with the pandemic, COVID-19, and also the rise and acknowledgement of a lot of the injustices that have been chronicled over and over again on television and throughout the world. Many of us are having to find our places and spaces where we can just catch a breath. And so I am in the midst of trying to catch a breath, but I try to meditate every day and to try to center myself. And
I was going to ask you that.
Yes, trying. And, and for those of us who have kids, you have kids too, Busi, right? You know, you're a mother as well. The most important job we can all have as mothers is, to make sure that our kids are okay. And so that has been something, that I've been focused on as well, making sure my daughter understands what is happening around the pandemic, but also what's happening around the world.
Absolutely. I mean, the hyper vigilance is out of control. I mean, I'm just hoping for an end in time with this. So Desiree, give us a little background on the work you do around American politics and elections.
Sure. So I say I have been involved in some way, shape, or form in government policy and movements since I was 16 years old officially. And unofficially, when my mother first taught me, my mother's a single mother, but also a community activist, and taught us really early on. I'm the oldest of three girls. Really taught us early on that we had to exercise the power of our voice and also question those systems that exist. And so I've always known my background and my history and knew that for my future, I wanted to do anything I could to be an impact maker. And so I've worked in government for a while, over 20 years, and then finally decided to start my own public affairs firm with some amazing clients. Everyone from the DNCC that took place in Philadelphia in 2016 to movements, March for Our Lives. We've done a lot of work with the Women's March as well. We are continuing to do work within the Black Lives Matter movement space. And so I am the president and CEO of DPBell Associates. I say we represent movements, not moments, people who want to make a difference, and brands that matter. And that has been my driving force.
So over the years, a lot has changed to bring you to this point. Oh, yes. Fantastic. I mean, this is very insightful. I didn't know you said politics. I mean, getting into this space at the age of 16, how remarkable. And people, it's important that people know the importance of voting and that kind of thing. So what's important for people to know about this particular election cycle, Desiree?
I mean, there are so many things that are written, so many things that are said about where we are in this country and in the world, right? I think that we are at an inflection point, not only in this country, the United States of America, but all over the world, where we are having to decide if the ideals that we say we stand for are going to execute and be who we say we are. And so that's the power of this election cycle, particularly in the United States. We are at a precipice in time right now where folks are looking at everything that is happening on the TV screens. They are looking at everything that is happening or not happening with other corporations and people and entities. This is an important cycle for us, for everyone, I say, within the entire diaspora, to exercise your right to vote. And my goal this cycle, quite frankly, is to reposition a lot of Black people and brown people, but specifically Black people, to focus on this election cycle, but use it as also an opportunity to continue to focus on other races, not just the presidential, but other races that impact your communities, your school board elections, your DA races, your sheriff's races, your judicial races, your congressional races. These are important things to know who is at the forefront and who has put their hat in the ring, and whether or not those people who've decided to run can earn our votes.
How insightful. You know, something interesting, Desiree, today I was just talking to someone and she was saying, who deals with the census? And she was like, you won't believe it. Many people of color do not fill out census forms. And she was like, you need to talk about that. That's another conversation. I mean, and do you think the two go hand in hand?
Oh, 100%. I mean, I think so. I want to put some context here too, because, you know, there were lots of census forms sent out. And this is the time of the census. We're in the middle of that right now. But the challenge, to be frank, was COVID-19 hit communities, Black and brown communities, harder than they hit any other communities. And so both with folks who are contracting the virus, but also folks who are impacted by it, and also folks who have somehow lost their jobs, their means of, making ends meet, and in their careers as well. And so it makes it very hard for folks to fill out the census form when that's not your most immediate need at that time. So we've been trying to connect the dots for Black and brown communities so folks can truly understand that the census is literally tied to more resources in your community. The only way that there is an opportunity for more resources to reach Black and Brown communities is for those communities to fill out the information, let them know you count where you are so that you can get the appropriate resources from the federal government, school districts, school boards, so that your position of where you are can actually change for the better, and you can get some additional synergies for communities of color.
Thank you so much. So what you're saying, it's not, is it too late to fill out the census forms, or you can still fill them out?
You can still fill them out. I mean, there's still a number of outreach efforts that are happening because people realize, you know, the same way here in the US, the tax days have been moved, right? So tax days typically April 15th, they've now moved it to, you know, July 15th. It, you know, is the same way that people are still trying to get a number of folks to fill out their census forms. It's still very important, along with voting as well. So it's not too late. But there is an understanding that, you know, folks are having to come to terms with some real day-to-day issues right now that may seem like the census is not as important, but it is. It is extremely important.
Oh, you're back. You're back.
Yes.
Yes, yes, yes. No, so I mean, hello, sorry about that. We had a bit of a glitch, but we are back on air. And our guest, Desiree Peterkin Bell, was talking about the connection between the votes, your vote, as well as the census, and how the census is filling out.
Yes, the census is extremely important.
Yes. Okay. Yeah. So it's very important. And then, what can you? Where would you advise people to get some of this information? I mean, like the layman out there. You know, this is a very grassroots and that kind of thing. It's just something I just thought of, and I believed you would, when you just talked about it, you would probably be able to have an insight on that information.
Yeah, so I mean, part of this information on the census is available online, UnitedStatesCensus.gov. And a census should have been mailed to your home. If it was not mailed, the great thing about the census right now is it only takes a few minutes to fill out. So you can actually fill it out online if, in fact, you have not received the census in your mailbox at your address. And it literally takes not a lot of time. And I urge people to fill out the census. You know, one of the biggest challenges that I hear all the time, every single year, specifically around election time, and specifically also around census counting time, is we don't have enough in our communities. And how do we get the federal government to understand what needs really exist within our communities? Well, this is one way to be able to do that, which is to fill out your census, and the federal government collects that information, and so does, you know, state governments as well. And they use that information to make informed decisions about resources for your community. And so the only way to be counted, right, is
absolutely
you have to be at the table, you know, so you're either on the menu or you're at the table. And I think many of us prefer to be, yes, all the time. I say that all the time.
You can't, closed mouths do not get fed. So 100%. If you do not demand what your rights are, that is being part of the discussion, you don't get what you deserve, you get what you negotiate. Yep. And so that's an example of the census. Anyway, Desiree, I had digressed a little bit, but I felt that was important to bring that in. Yes. How are the events around the racial injustices we are seeing having on this election cycle?
You know, I think we are, you know, there are lots of folks who are learning about the Black Lives Matter movement. And I always have to remind folks that this movement just did not get started this year. You know, the Black Lives Matter movement actually started as a hashtag with 3 Black women who started that conversation online when Trayvon Martin's killer was set free. And so it was a simple statement of fact that Black Lives Matter. It has since become a movement around acknowledging that Black people, specifically here in America, but now we're seeing a global movement as well, that Black lives matter. They don't matter anymore. They don't matter any less. They don't matter on Tuesdays, only on Fridays. They simply matter. And that is a powerful statement, because I think a lot of folks are confused by that term and by that movement.
Yeah,
and
because
so
yeah.
No, go ahead.
No, you complete your trend of thoughts. And
so I think what we're seeing now is we're seeing the collective action and feeling of all of those, of all that aspiration that Black Lives Matter. You're seeing that in the street with a number of young people and people of all generations and hues. I mean, this has been one of the most significant mass protests I have seen in my generation, to be frank, around injustices, around racial inequity and racial justice, highlighting and really emanating from deaths that have taken place, but other racial injustices that have taken place. So it's been about George Floyd. It's been about Breonna Taylor. It's been about Ahmaud Arbery. It's been about even folks who, you know, cases are just coming back up into the public light. Elijah, it's coming to fruition now that Black Lives Matter, and that people want to say that freely, openly, but they want to tie that to laws and the idea of what America is supposed to be for Black Americans.
Yes, and which includes, because one thing people should know with African diaspora, as long as you're in America, you're Black. And one thing,
listen, you've already know, we've had conversations, right? So I'm excited to be on this, to be your first guest here, because Busi, you and I have had some frank conversations, right? About, listen, if someone, you know, and I have so many stories about driving, we know, while Black, my husband, and the fear that you know, kind of invades in your space. But if you are stopped,
and yet you seem to be doing everything right, seemingly,
and you seem to be doing everything right, no one is like, are you from Nigeria? Was your great grandfather a prince? Or are you from the Bronx, New York? Right? They're not asking that question.
And also another thing, there's another misconception of all lives matter. Yes, all lives matter, just like with pets lives matter, right?
Right.
But that doesn't mean that you should only go after save the dolphins. So that's,
right.
I mean, but then you said save the dolphins. So it's the same thing. All lives matter, but who have been getting, I mean, it has been a disaster with regards to Black lives in this country and the history of Black lives in this country. And so that's why people are just talking more about it, that, hey, we have to pay attention to what's happening at the moment. Do I make sense with regards to that?
100%. I mean, I think, and part of it is, so it's manyfold. There's a history here, right? And so there's a history in this country, you know, where, okay, the structures and the society at large has said Black Americans need to work hard, do this, do that. Great. Did that in 1921 in Tulsa, Oklahoma. And then when they did that with their own banks, with their own businesses, with their own quote unquote Black Wall Street, that entire town in Tulsa, Oklahoma was burned down. And then again in 1923 in Rosewood, Florida, same thing, built everything, tried to get a piece of the American dream. And again, that Rosewood burned down. right? And I think you have a history in this country of racial aggression, right, toward Black people, and folks are frustrated right now because not only do they see it explicitly, but they're seeing it and feeling it implicitly as well. And that is evidenced also by some of the things that are happening now. So if that video did not surface, right, if that video did not surface to walk us through the last seconds and minutes of George Floyd, how many people would have believed that George Floyd was killed? How many?
And I must add on to that, I mean, my grandfather was head of prisons himself, but I want to say this. People, there's a misconception that if you're pro Black Lives Matter, you're anti-police. That's not true. And with every police, we're just saying there should be reforms in the police departments as well, because they are rotten apples that are spoiling the name of the police as well, of law enforcement.
100%. I mean, they're rotten apples everywhere, right? I mean, you have rotten apples in every aspect or every vertical of business throughout the world. I think the challenge here, when you talk about, police brutality, but when you also talk about the injustices of even the criminal justice system, is there are some facts, which is, African Americans at an alarming rate are pulled over a lot more. African Americans at an alarming rate, or Black people in the community, in the diaspora, let me be clear, are targeted a lot more. Black people in the diaspora, in the community, have touch points around discrimination, ignorance, and racism a lot more. We also saw that with the Amy Cooper, who was the white woman who called the police on a Black man who was trying to birdwatch. And we saw how we saw how she weaponized, right, her power to call the police and then lie. That happens not just outside all the time. It also happens, at work. It happens daily. And I think what you're seeing is folks are really, really tired and come to a point where they just have to emphatically say, my worth is just as important as your worth. It's not more, it's just as important. And that statement of fact is Black Lives Matter.
Very clear. I mean, I like the way you're tying it in and making it, contextualizing it for the folks who are watching so that they know Black Lives Matters does also affect them, whether directly or indirectly, because at the end of the day, their children are also African American. When you're born here, you're African American automatically. So it's important that you know this thing, and doesn't mean that you don't have friends who are white, because there are people who say, no. And also, this is another discussion, another time, maybe not on this platform, but it could be on this platform, how Friends of Africa, Friends of the Diaspora can support in this Black Lives Matter as allies.
100%. I mean, I think we need to begin to have a broader conversation about the power of the diaspora and the exponential power that exists within a diaspora. And we have to stop seeing each other as separate, because for a number of structures that already exist out there in the world, and also in this country, we are seen as Black, right? We are seen as part of the Black community. And so, and this is where you and I have had conversations, which is, as Black women with different backgrounds, I'm Afro, Latina, and Caribbean, and yourself, even though we look like Black women, we have very distinct and different experiences. But those experiences help to aid in better building relationships with each other. Because at the end of the day, people are going to look at us, this world, and say, Boosie, Desiree, they're two Black women. That's it. Yeah. They're two Black women. And we have to say we are, and we are going to collectively work together. We are going to collectively build. we are going to collectively garner our resources as well to ensure that other folks who look like us, come from our, similar backgrounds, or even different backgrounds within this diaspora, have a fighting chance to be on, Afrique Today TV, to be on, having conversations, that are about us and that are about our people and that are about our problems and that are about our solutions and that are about our happiness, right? And this is where the power comes in. This is the power of the diaspora.
Absolutely. After the break, Desiree, we are going to talk about what the African diaspora means to you and why it's important. Stay tuned.
ESYDA returned to play summer clinics. Recreation, Tuesday and Thursday, 6 to 8 p.m. Travel team, EDP, Wednesday, Friday, and Saturday. Time, 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. Free mask and water bottle. Register today at esYDA.org. Email info@ESYDA. Phone 248-765-9369. Office 301-800-7848. Toll free 800-995-5532. Free registration for all summer clinics. All new players need buy uniforms. We're following COVID-19 soccer guidelines. Small group practice with 9 players and 1 coach. For more information, go to ESYDA.org.
L'entrepreneuriat digital vous intéresse-t-il? Vous voulez apprendre à construire des projets digitaux? Aimeriez-vous gagner des revenus passifs conséquents en tout lieu? Voici la plateforme des professionnels du digital, la Diaspo Academy. Ici, vous retrouverez les meilleurs professionnels de la diasporama mondiale connectés sur notre plateforme. Vous allez pouvoir acquérir des formations adéquates qui feront de vous des entrepreneurs digitaux compétents. Étudiants, entrepreneurs, coachs, instructeurs et entreprises, Diaspo Academy est une opportunité pour vous. Elle vous offre la possibilité de suivre votre formation en mode virtuel à partir de chez vous, où que vous soyez sur la planète. Toutes nos formations disponibles en ligne sont dispensées de manière interactive. Il suffit de vous inscrire et vous pourrez les suivre depuis chez vous. Au cours de la formation, vous passerez des quiz et examens selon votre parcours. En outre, à partir de votre tableau de bord, vous suivrez vos performances et progressions. Vous pourrez aussi communiquer avec vos instructeurs et recevoir des notifications. À la fin de votre parcours de formation, vous recevrez un certificat Diaspo Academy Certified. Que vous soyez débutant ou responsable d'entreprise, Diaspo Academy est une opportunité pour vous. Saisissez-la! Enfin, que vous soyez coach ou instructeur, ayez accès à un millier d'étudiants à travers notre plateforme. Merci de choisir Diaspo Academy, le meilleur choix. Pour plus d'informations, allez sur www.diaspoacademy.com. Diaspo Academy, la plateforme des professionnels du digital.
Welcome back to Afrique Today. I am your host, Busi Matsiko Anden, hosting the African Diaspora Grassroots Voting. And I welcome you back And our guest, Desiree Peterkin Bell, has been giving us an amazing insight into voting and being Black in America, as well as being in the diaspora.
Hi,
So hi, welcome back. So Desiree, please let us know what the diaspora means to you and why it's important. African diaspora means to you and why it's important.
I mean, it means so many things to me, to be honest. I think, and I get excited whenever I talk about, the diaspora broadly, because I get excited about the potential and what I see on the horizon. Personally, for me, being part of the diaspora means that I come from a bloodline, and I recognize that I drink deeply from wells I did not dig. And that for me, particularly what I do every single day, as a mother, as a entrepreneur, and I try to be an impact maker to try to impact things that are happening in this world. I feel like I have a duty. So I'm driven by purpose and not position. Despite whatever position I've ever been in, I've tried to fight for purpose.
That has been your slogan for a long time. Purpose, not position.
And sometimes, as you know, that's a hard place to be in, because not everyone is ready. Not everyone wants to hear the hard stuff. Not everyone wants to and can accept the challenges. And so being a part of the diaspora for me means understanding that you come from that bloodline of people focused on a purpose, on a passion, and on a mission to ensure that Black people broadly succeed in everything that they do, socioeconomically, educationally, financially, within and also make the biggest impact they can make around the world and around the globe. So for me, that's what it means. And that's what drives me every day.
Wonderful. I mean, that's very insightful, and I love to hear such information. And how can we all work together in the diaspora towards a common goal, including voting? I want to come back to voting.
Yes, I come back. I mean, part of it, making sure that you understand that voting is important, right? And so I want to be clear too, a lot of the primaries have moved because of COVID-19. So be sure to look up on your state's websites, and also the federal voter registration website as well, that allows you to determine and see which states have moved their primaries. And because the primaries have changed because of COVID, and so have the polling locations. They have also changed. And we've seen some of this in Georgia. And let me just say that some states have done better jobs than others in informing the public about some of these changes and some of the changes in polling sites, but also the change of date. And so it is incumbent upon us to exercise our right. This is our right here in this country. We have a right to vote and express our free-flowing thought, opinion, and who we want to represent us via voting. That is our right. And one of the biggest ways to do that is to make sure that you are in fact voting on the right days through the primaries. And then everyone knows that we have our general election that's going to be in November. And I think, everyone knows where I fall. And so I think, for the broader audience, regardless of wherever you fall, although I would question many if you fell on one side more than the other, but that's another conversation. But for this movement here in this election cycle, we have an important duty to not only vote, but to vote for our future, and to vote for the people that you want to represent you locally. You want to represent you statewide. You want to represent your interest, your family, what's important to you, and also represent you in this country and globally. That is how we need to begin to think about this in terms of who you vote for and why you even need to vote.
Thank you so much, Desiree. I mean, that is so a wealth of information. I feel it's like And you know, have you heard like information for dummies? I'm not calling
Yeah.
anyone a dummy, but I'm just saying you have compressed it for the average person, even such as myself, because sometimes there's information overload. I say
Yes.
people are zoomed out, zoomed in, but
Yes.
this show here is a nice show because it's telling you what you need to know about the 2020 US elections, which is very critical. So people should not take this lightly because election will impact generations to come. And so I like the fact that you have broken it down into different subcategories that people can actually contextualize it to see how it will benefit them. So Desiree, what work are you doing internationally to try to build bridges with the African diaspora?
So I'm excited to be working and to announce here on this program that we are going to be launching a new vertical in DPBell and Associates within the diaspora. And that is to align with a number of entrepreneurs within the diaspora to try to basically catalog all of our resources around social justice, around education, and around social and upward mobility. And so we are partnering with Pont Global to be able to do that. And we're also going to be creating specific events that are going to be announced later this year to take place within and throughout the diaspora that really focus on how do we build our resources together? How do we tap into those? How do we ensure we're not leaving anyone out? Yeah. Collaboration, huge, huge, huge. But also with young people too, right? I mean, young folks need to understand that they have resources within the diaspora, right? If you want to start that business, if you want to start that, if you have that idea and you just needed perhaps you needed some VC funding to be able to do that. We want to be able to be a one-stop shop for a lot of that information so that we can adequately assure that we are giving folks within the diaspora an opportunity to excel at whatever it is they want to excel in. That's our focus.
Amazing. I can't wait to hear a follow-up on what's happening, what's to come. I mean, there's an African proverb which says, if you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together. That's basically sums it up, Desiree, as we wrap up, I would like to say, do you have any closing remarks?
Yeah, I mean, I think, especially as you figure out, who the other guests are going to be, and I know you're going to have some other amazing guests. I just want to be able to say thank you to Afrique TV. Thank you to you, Busi, Pont Global, and then also position where we are, as I said before, earlier this week. So on June 7th, there was a blackout, what was called a blackout. And that blackout was a commitment from folks throughout the diaspora that they would commit to only buying from Black businesses and patroning at other Black establishments, right? And I think that's a powerful, powerful message to have, but also powerful act to do. Because within the diaspora, we have about $1.1 billion that we spend. So when you think about brands and you think about companies and you think about positioning, we are the people that everybody in this world needs to communicate to. We are the people that everybody in this world needs to do business with. We are the people in this world that everyone should have in their offices, on their boards, on their commissions, on their staffs. It's us. And I think the more we realize that, then the greater power we will yield and wield and be able to start making some real significant investments and significant changes within our communities, our states, this country, and abroad.
Have you heard what Desiree has said? She has mentioned critical things that we need to take into consideration for us to grow in the diaspora. We need to support one another. We need to vote. We need to exercise our civic rights, and not think that it doesn't matter to you. It doesn't matter. it matters a lot. And we have to come together. United we stand, divided we fall. I mean, I would like to thank our lovely guests, Desiree, for sparing time to educate us on things we need to know about the elections and what we need to know about this election cycle. And I thank you all for tuning in. And I look forward to seeing all of you next week on Wednesday at the same time. Please spread word about this show. I know it's a new show, but we are going to have so much fun. We're going to learn a lot, and we're going to learn together. I thank you for being a committed audience, and I would like to wish you all a wonderful week. Have a fabulous day. Thank you.
Looking to start a rewarding career? Call Gandhi Healthcare today to earn your certification as a nursing assistant, dental assistant, pharmacy technician, phlebotomy technician, and many more. We offer no interest payment plans, scholarships, and tuition reimbursements for those that qualify. Located right in the heart of Pikesville on Reicherstown Road and McHenry Avenue in the Pikesville Shopping Center. It offers immediate access from 695, accessible to public transportation on the 83 and 89 bus line. We offer morning, evening, and weekend classes to fit your schedule. Earn your certification in as little as 5 weeks. We are now offering classes online and on-site. Hurry, classes start soon, so enroll today. Visit us online at gandhihealthcare.com or call 443-352-8030.
ESYDA returned to play summer clinics. Recreation, Tuesday and Thursday, 6 to 8 p.m. Travel team, EDP, Wednesday, Friday, and Saturday. Time, 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. Free mask and water bottle. Register today at esYDA.org. Email info@esYDA. Phone 248-765-9369. Office 301-800-7848. Toll free 800-995-5532. Free registration for all summer clinics. All new players need buy uniforms. We're following COVID-19 soccer guidelines. Small group practice with 9 players and 1 coach. For more information, go to esYDA.org.
L'entrepreneuriat digital vous intéresse-t-il? Vous voulez apprendre à construire des projets digitaux? Aimeriez-vous gagner des revenus passifs conséquents en tout lieu? Voici la plateforme des professionnels du digital, la Diaspo Academy. Ici, vous retrouverez les meilleurs professionnels de la diasporama mondiale connectés sur notre plateforme. Vous allez pouvoir acquérir des formations adéquates qui feront de vous des entrepreneurs digitaux compétents. Étudiants, entrepreneurs, coachs, instructeurs et entreprises, Diaspo Academy est une opportunité pour vous. Elle vous offre la possibilité de suivre votre formation en mode virtuel à partir de chez vous, où que vous soyez sur la planète. Toutes nos formations disponibles en ligne sont dispensées de manière interactive. Il suffit de vous inscrire et vous pourrez les suivre depuis chez vous. Au cours de la formation, vous passerez des quiz et examens selon votre parcours. En outre, à partir de votre tableau de bord, vous suivrez vos performances et progressions. Vous pourrez aussi communiquer avec vos instructeurs et recevoir des notifications. À la fin de votre parcours de formation, vous recevrez un certificat Diaspo Academy Certified. Que vous soyez débutant ou responsable d'entreprise, Diaspo Academy est une opportunité pour vous. Saisissez-la! Enfin, que vous soyez coach ou instructeur, ayez accès à un millier d'étudiants à travers notre plateforme. Merci de choisir Diaspo Academy, le meilleur choix. Pour plus d'informations, allez sur www.diaspoacademy.com. Diaspo Academy, la plateforme des professionnels du digital.
Do you want to promote your business? Do you want to talk about your nonprofit organization? Do you want to talk about your culture? Introducing the online web TV, Afrique Today. Fogham. You can watch us live at the same time on 4 platforms: Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and using the Afrique Today app. Download our app today for Android or Apple. Promote your business today. For more information, go to www.afriquetoday.com. Afrique Today, the best of digital TV. ESYDA returned to play summer clinics. Recreation, Tuesday and Thursday, 6 to 8 p.m. Travel team, EDP, Wednesday, Friday, and Saturday. Time, 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. Free mask and water bottle. Register today at esYDA.org. Email info@ESYDA. Phone 248-765-9369. Office 301-800-7848. Toll free 800-995-5532. Free registration for all summer clinics. All new players need buy uniforms. We're following COVID-19 soccer guidelines. Small group practice with 9 players and 1 coach. For more information, go to esYDA.org.
Jamais nous disons stop à la vente de nos terres. Jamais, jamais ne cédons pas au chantage et belles paroles. L'héritage que nos ancêtres nous ont légué, c'est pas l'argent, les voitures et maisons, pour assurer la survie de nos familles. C'est la forêt et la terre, Missy et bon, Elle est baillon c'est ma ni si bonne ni te honey. Elle est baillon c'est ma et ma kubasia na ton mambo manyoko. Na be café na biko konone. Umo so mo sanga olia.
Toyanaka obonongo yosumise inundanga abonisa sakonane.
Non à la vente des terres banais. Non à la vente des terres banais. Non à la vente des terres banais. Non à la vente des terres banais.
Abeneni bekime uwanu tonelena mokatu moti usunu ni fala abanisa tuyana kobonanga tobonanga salaba
Tobe munu moti batokaka obusi.
élevons nos voix chantons sur tous les toits pour que demain soit plus clair. Si t'entends ma voix, la voix des sans-voix, ce qu'on a de plus cher, ce sont nos terres. Ce qu'on a de plus cher, ce sont nos terres. Toyanaka obonongo yosumise inundanga abonisa sakonane.
Non à la vente des terres banais. Non à la vente des terres banais. Non à la vente des terres banais. Non à la vente des terres banais.
On peut tromper une partie du peuple tout le temps et tout le peuple une partie du temps. Mais on ne peut tromper tout le peuple tout le temps. Oui au développement, non à l'exode rural.
Diaspora Banen, chef traditionnel élite, fils et filles, que chacun apporte sa pierre à l'édifice. Mouna ni Mounda Monté.
Non à la vente des terres banais. Non à la vente des terres banais. Non à la vente
Peuple banel,
des terres banais.
tous nous sommes interpellés.
Non à la vente
Soyons unis.
des terres banais. Non à la vente
Bonani petit me patenem.
banais.
Mokatu motin fosuni for lock.
Non à la vente
Monani foye mo.
Nous remercions le collectif des artistes banais et son président, Monsieur Écondilé Vincent Olivier, pour sa lutte acharnée pour le réveil de la culture banaine.